Joining me now with his take is Republican Conference Vice Chair. We welcome Representative Doug Collins. Great to see you, Congressman.
Great to see you too, Liz.
Wait, do the Democrats have a point about all of this?
No, they don't have a point about this. Let's be fair. About most of those on the Judiciary Committee just a few months ago said they would vote no on any nominee put forward by the president. I'm not sure what papers they read at that point. I'm not sure what documents they were looking for at that point. They just simply said, we're going to vote no on whoever he sends up here. So I don't think this is a discussion about their reading ability or how much they want to read or how much they want to find. They simply want to delay and defer this nomination because they don't like this nomination.
Yeah, that's the point.
Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, and you know, Mitch McConnell did point out that there's such a massive paper trail on Kavanaugh. Mitch McConnell warned that this could be a problem, and now we see it coming to fruition. But here's the thing. Joe Biden, Congressman, Joe Biden back in 1993, he launched what was called the Ruth Bader Ginsburg rule that says that Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't have to talk about her personal views on anything. Remember, she was an ACLU litigator. She was basically arguing for legalizing prostitution and more. So this could all be moot. I mean, Kavanaugh may not even have to say anything about Roe v. Wade or any other issue. His personal views I'm talking about.
No, and I don't think he should. I think what he should do is answer the questions as they are put forward and not give away what he may or may not do hypothetically on the court. That's what's happened in every confirmation hearing that has ever gone on. We know their background. We have seen their writings. I love what he said. He says, don't read about my judicial opinions. Read the opinions. Undoubtedly, the Democrats on the committee don't want to read the opinion. They just want to play for the 2020 presidential election or maybe their next fundraising buffers. I don't know. But they knew they weren't going to vote for Kavanaugh to start with. They're simply finding every reason in the world to delay this. Yeah. They're not worried about document dumps. They just don't like the fact that President Trump won, and this is his appointment.
But, Congressman, it sure got fiery today. You make an important point that Democrats want to push this until after the midterms, hoping they seize back control of the Senate. So goodbye, Kavanaugh and any other Trump nominee. But here's Chair Chuck Grassley fighting with Senate Democrat Rich Blumenthal today. Watch this.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a vote.
Yeah.
I ask that we reconvene an executive session and have a vote.
I shouldn't have to explain to you we're having a hearing. It's out of order. We're not in executive session. That'd be the proper forum for entertaining motions.
I ask that we reconvene an executive session. We
won't vote on Senator Blumenthal's suggestion.
Mr. Chairman, if there is no vote on this motion, which has been properly seconded and which could be given a vote in executive session, this process will be tainted and stained forever.
Okay, let's back this up and put context here. Sir, we know that this disruption and the interruptions play well to the Democrat base. But Senator Dick Durbin, Congressman, did admit today that Chuck Schumer reportedly had a conference call and the battle plan was disrupt and delay. What's your take on Senator Dick Durbin confirming that in the hearing today?
I commend him for being honest. I think what we know is there was a coordinated effort. Chuck Schumer orchestrated this. Dick Durbin confirmed it. Mr. Blumenthal can say all he wants. If you want to talk about a tainted process, if you want to talk about that, then you talk about senators who said before the president even nominated his nominee for this position that they would not vote for this position. That's tainting a jury pool. That's somebody that's saying, I don't care what this person comes up and says. I don't care if they say everything I want. I'm voting no simply because I'm a Democrat and I don't like this. The ABA has given Judge Kavanaugh its highest legal opinion. It is highest ratings. They know who this is. They know that he's a brilliant legal mind going on the Supreme Court, and they know by their own past actions that they can do nothing about it except watch the process and basically pitch a fit while they have the hearing and get it to the floor. I commend Mitch McConnell. I commend Chairman Grassley for moving forward and not giving in to the temper tantrum that was thrown today.
Okay, let's get to this next case. Tech executives heading to Capitol Hill this week, starting tomorrow with the Senate Intelligence Committee, Facebook's COO, Sheryl Sandberg, Twitter's CEO, Jack Dorsey, and a Google executive on the hot seat before lawmakers this week. Those companies' stocks today, check out the action in them. Facebook down more than 2%. Twitter and Google also ending lower. Shares of Snap, the parent of Snapchat, touching an all-time low today. Congressman, here's the thing. We know that the Democrats need 23 seats to retake control of the House. The Cook report says 70 Republican seats are in play. We know historically that at midterm elections, the ruling party in the presidency lose seats in the House. How important is what these tech executives are, what they're going to say to Congress? How important is all of this?
I think it's very important. Most people actually look at their social media accounts and Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, these kind of things, and they have become the new content piece. And people have to understand that, and they need to understand that. This is no longer folks in the back of a garage making up a new product. They are the dominant technologies in content and how people disperse news and information. And the perception right now is that it's tainted. There's a perception out there that there is shadowing going on. There's a perception right now that conservatives are not allowed to get their message out, and we have shown it to be true in several places, and there's also been arguments on the other side. The question has got to come from them is do they understand what their product is? Do they understand how to correct it? And do they understand how to be a fair arbiter of the playing field, or the bulletin board, if you would, to life that they now have put out there? Mark Zuckerberg did a terrible job when he was on the Hill, basically claiming responsibility, which I commend. But then when it got to the actual workings of his company, he fell flat on his face. They need to restore confidence to the American people and to Congress that they're not out there as an umpire who are calling balls and strikes and only calling what they want to see.
Well,
that's what they need to do.
Let's talk about your point about Mark Zuckerberg, because remember when Republican Senator Ted Cruz grilled Mark Zuckerberg about Facebook's political bias? Let's watch.
A great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship.
I understand where that concern is coming from, because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place. And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out at the company, is making sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do. And I think it is a fair concern.
Okay, the apology tour went away. When you get down to brass tacks, sir, what can Congress do to ensure there's not bias on these social platforms? Because these are privately run companies. They're in the private sector. They're publicly traded, but they're private. Can the government, can you guys really step in and regulate these guys?
Well, I think the really thing you have to look at here is what have they become as far as content and how they're dealing with it. Look, there's an issue of free speech, and everybody ought to have their ability to go say whatever they want to say. This is what the First Amendment is for. It's not for speech that you like. First Amendment is for speech that you abhor. It is for the things that you don't like. But there has to be a playing field that is fair, and this new dynamic of social media and the Facebook phenomenon, the Twitter phenomenon, has now shaped what we all used to think of traditional news media and news outlets.
So what are you guys going to do? What's the plan? What's the battle plan here? Are you going to regulate them like utilities? That's been an idea. Have the FCC come down on them? What are you going to do? I
think that's going to be a concern, and we don't need to look at it from a regulatory standpoint. I'm a small government conservative. I think you've got to look at it from a perspective of a shining light in dark places. And when we see problems, I believe the market itself will be the great disinfectant. But we've also got to show that, and just as he said, I share that same concern. I don't share the concern he has just because he lives in Silicon Valley. Right. I share it because what we see on his platform.
Yeah, maybe another platform will be built. Congressman, thank you so much for your time, sir. Great stuff there. Good to see you.